Hi, this is Vicky here from booktook, where I introduce you to the finest books and transformational ideas from world-class thinkers, experts and achievers. In one short video, you get to learn what others may have taken months, years or even a lifetime. This video is part of Strategies Simplified series. The tools of strategic thinking are available for everyone to learn and benefit from. Whether you want to start a business or a student or you are working for a company, these skills will make you a better business thinker. So let's begin. Today we'll talk about what it means to have a strategy. A 9-year-old boy who had lost his right arm in a car accident decided to take judo lessons. His teacher was an old Japanese judo master who decided to teach the kid one move only. After a few lessons, the boy said to him, "Master, shouldn't I be learning more moves?" "No, the only move you know is the only move you will ever need to know," he replied. 6 months later, the boy had his first tournament. To everyone's surprise, the boy won the first 3 matches and got in the finals. The other boy, his opponent, was bigger and stronger than him. Everyone thought that the boy had no chance to win. The match began, and the opponent indeed seemed much more experienced than the little boy. Suddenly, the opponent dropped his guard, which was a critical mistake. The boy used the only move he knew to pin him and won the tournament. Later, the master told the boy, "Son, you won for two reasons." The master answered, "First, after 6 months hard practice, you have almost mastered one of the most difficult throws. And second, the only known defense for that move is for your opponent to grab your right arm." And this is how the boy's biggest weakness turned into his biggest strength. That's what a strategy is for, to increase your odds of success. Current state of strategy. In the world of business, strategy can make or break a company. Research by Paul Carroll, published in Harvard Business Review, showed that the number one cause of bankruptcy is bad strategy. Companies of all shapes and sizes have closed their doors because they didn't have a plan for success, particularly in economic downturns. If you don't have a strategic plan today, you may not have a business tomorrow. The same holds true for individuals. Sports Illustrated reported that 60% of professional basketball players are in serious financial trouble within the 5 years of retirement, despite earning millions of dollars a year while they held their job. Still think having a lot of money protects you from personal bankruptcy? The sobering fact remains, if you don't have a strategy, you may not have a future, at least not the one you want. On personal level, if you ask your spouse, partner, friend or neighbor what his or her top 3 goals are for next year, my guess is he or she won't really have an answer. While it's hard to believe that something so fundamental as goals and objectives can be overlooked, research shows only 15% of the people take time to write down what they want, which is goals, and how they will achieve, which is strategy. So what is strategy? In its simplest form, strategy is a bridge for getting from where you are today to where you want to go. Whether in business or in personal life, strategy is how you plan to get from your current position to your desired goals. A bridge provides passage or a gap, something that's missing. For many of us, these are the gaps in our lives, things that are missing, things that we would like to have more of, such as more time with family and friends, more purposeful work, a healthier lifestyle, and greater spirituality. Strategy can help us fill those gaps. Think about the barriers you face, the obstacles and adversity, a difficult coworker, frustrating business hassles, tough targets at work, lack of strong bond with your loved ones, high cholesterol, and so forth. Strategy can help us span and overcome these obstacles. What prevents people from a good strategy? To explain this, I'll use a very simple example. As you know, strategy involves what you want to do and how will you do it. Here's a strategy: to get to beach city Goa by driving. In this case, to get to Goa is the what element and by driving is the how element. Many organizations have a what element in their objective but lack the how element. To stick with the same example, let's say the organization states that it wishes to be in Goa. There will be a pep talk from the manager that we can certainly do this with all these amazing employees, which finishes with let's go get to work people. Then each team and each person, inspired by their leader's great speech, gets started. One orders airplane tickets to go to the Goa. Another starts washing his bike because he thinks he might be doing a bike ride to Goa. And yet another gets his running shoes because he or she thinks he will run and create a new record, and so on. These are all great intentions, but there is no consistency. This is just a single example, but it's the sort of thing that often happens in organization. Because the objective offers inadequate direction, the plan itself and the employee activities are all over the place. Now, many more companies have how element in their objective, but no what element. So returning to the same example, we have the same pep talk and the same inspiration, but now the leader tells us that we will go for a long drive. Again, everyone inspired by leaders' great speech gets started. One starts to drive to the nearest sunset point because this is the road he or she enjoys. Another drives to home, as home is where the heart is. And someone drives to nearest supermarket because he or she has to get some groceries anyway. And this also seems to be in sync with what organizations wants them to do. That's to go for a drive. In short, there is no joint destination, and although along the way you may call out to each other, isn't this a great drive, or together we have already covered a great many miles, you will never know if and when you have reached your final destinations. Moreover, you lose sight of each other along the way. While it looks absurd in this example, but in terms of goals, we're either not sure what we want to achieve, and if we know, then we don't know the best way to get to that goal. David and Goliath. In about 1030 BC, David the shepherd boy defeated warrior Goliath. When Goliath stepped from the ranks of Philistines and shouted a challenge, the army of King Saul cringed in terror. Goliath was over 9 feet tall, his spear like a weaver's beam, his bronze helmet and body armor were shining in the sunlight. David was not old enough to be a soldier like his brothers, yet nonetheless he wanted to face the giant. King Saul advised David that he was too young and the giant a skilled veteran, but relented and gave him armor. The armor was heavy, so David discarded it, rushing to combat in shepherd's garb. Moving towards Goliath, he took a stone and launched it with his sling. Struck in his forehead, Goliath fell dead on the spot. David moved forward and took the fallen champion's head. The Philistines fled. In a hand-to-hand combat, David had no chance against the mighty Goliath, and going anywhere near Goliath would have been a sure death. David had to kill his opponent, and he relied on his only strengths of speed and his skill with the slingshot. This story again demonstrates how, if you carefully think about your situation, you can find ways to get what you want to achieve. This act of considering how and then taking action is what is called strategy. There are hundreds of tools, frameworks, case studies developed by business thinkers from past 50 years, from Peter Drucker to Michael Porter, from McKinsey to Boston Consulting Group. I plan to cover most important of them in easy, understandable way in some of my videos. But you need to understand there is no fail-proof tactic, tool or formula which will guarantee business or personal success. It depends on your particular situation, your strengths, level of competition and your execution. And even if you do all these things right, you can still lose if timing is bad. The purpose of strategy is to increase your odds of success because of reasons you can anticipate and influence, and not just waiting for luck to be generous on you. And for that, you need to think like a strategist. But how do we do it? On the fundamental level, there are just 5 basic questions that any strategy tries to answer. Where are you? Number 2, where do you want to go? Number 3, what changes have to be made? Number 4, how should changes be made? And finally, number 5, how shall we measure progress? Strategy is deliberately trying to shape the future by asking these questions. Get these questions clear in your head and use them to organize the way you think about yourself or your business or your organization? The answer to these questions are all interrelated, and changes in any one answer will have an impact on the answers to all the others. The strategy you come up with will be perfect for you but may fail for someone else who blindly copies your tactics. Remember, making good strategy means thinking like a strategist. That was it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you find this useful. Dear friends, we'll continue this quest to learn from the best. Till then, have fun and be limitless.